Hi friends, I hope that you all are fine. Today in this video, I am going to share with you about BRICS. BRICS is the short form of Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. Later on, some 6 members have joined in this organization from 2024 to 2026. You see, these are the countries, namely Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia. So at present, there are how many members? At present, there are 11 members in BRICS, and BRICS was established in 2019. This year, the summit, the conference of the foreign ministers of BRICS took place in India, New Delhi, and all the 18 members, all the permanent, all the members. They arrived, and the meeting has been concluded. It started yesterday, and it continued even today. And the joint declaration by the foreign ministers have already been published. And in this video, I would like to share with you about NATO also, because NATO was a very important and very robust political and economic and military organization that was built, that was founded in 1949. United States of America, Great Britain, and Canada were the main founders of NATO. But nowadays, the total 32 members are there in NATO. This NATO is now decaying after Donald Trump's second term in office. Okay, because there are several regions. Donald Trump has imposed taxes and tariffs on almost all the countries in the world, including Canada. He wanted to make Canada as the 51st state of the United States of America. So, and he doesn't have, or he didn't have, very good relation with Great Britain and not other countries, because when he in his Iran war, when he sought support from all the countries, almost all the countries, they have defied, and they did not extend their helping hand towards United States of America to combat or to fight against Iran. Okay, so one side BRICS, and BRICS nowadays, BRICS was built as an alternative to NATO, because the South Asian countries are mainly deprived. They are not given proper spaces. They were not giving enough. They were not given enough chances to stand and express their concerns. They were not included. They were not having very good voice in United Nations. They did not have very robust voices in economic organizations like IMF, like International Monetary Fund, I said, and World Trade Organization, and all the organizations. That is why this that foreign ministers meeting of BRICS took place in May 14 and 15, and today is 15 this month, and it held in New Delhi. And you see, do you know what was the theme of the summit? This year's theme was building for resilience, innovation, cooperation, and sustainability. So India is responsible for organizing the 18th BRICS summit and ministerial meeting throughout the year, and the theme was, I told you, and venue was definitely New Delhi and Bharat Mandapam. Now it is in Bharat Mandapam, all the international events are taking place, because it is very nicely decorated and newly constructed a place where international standard stage, where the global conferences and seminars and global organizations, global events can be held. Okay, and the focus, actually 2026 agenda emphasizes strengthening multilateralism, global governance reforms, mainly in United Nations and United Nations Security Council, United Nations General Assembly. For a long time, United Nations General Assembly was supposed to be reformed, but all the 5 members of this are the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. And if one country gives veto, then the United Nations Security Council cannot take any action on the basis of the UN Charter against any country, any any attacking country, or any country who has attacked other country or violated the norms of the UN Charter. So this is the thing. But if we consider that NATO, how strong NATO is actually really very strong, the political and military alliance of 32 countries, I told you, and mainly these countries belong to Europe and North America, and it was founded in 1949. Article 5, this is what is the major strength of NATO, why the NATO members are very strong, why the European countries and North American, other countries in Europe are shouting, are rather begging to become a member of NATO. Why do you know? Because in Article 5 of NATO, it has been said that the foundational principle stating that an armed attack, remember, an armed attack against one member, an armed attack on one member is considered an attack against all. Okay, so requiring member states to assist the ally under attack. So this is a very good point. Article number 5, the collective defense, and there is another good some other points are there. That the consensus-based decision making, all decisions within the alliance are made by mutual agreement among all members. Though it is written in the charter of NATO, but actually it is not really followed, because mainly the United States of America dominates NATO. Very recently, when Donald Trump came in his second term, he said that all the countries will have to, NATO members will have to spend about 3% of their GDP in defense purposes, and he said that United States of America otherwise is not going to support or not going to help any country if they are attacked. Okay, so a commanding structure, NATO does not have its own standing army, but member nations contribute their own military forces, equipment, and resources for joint operation and mission. So you can say that definitely NATO is an old organization, and NATO is very strong in comparison to this BRICS. Okay, so I would say that BRICS is a country. BRICS nowadays is growing as an alternative force or alternative voice of South Asian or Asian regions. So it's what are the main countries? They are India, the largest democracy in the world; China, the second largest economy in the world. You see, India is the largest democracy, while China is the second largest economy, and India is also the fifth largest economy in the world. And you see, what are the countries? Russia, another very great power, another great power of the world, where for which United States of America is very much envious of China and Russia, because they think that China is the major threat and Russia is also a threat, though they are having very good relationship. But ultimately, very recently, US President Donald Trump has also visited China, and there was an issue of Taiwan issue. But despite that, America being weak, has gone to meet Xi and went to meet Xi Jinping there, and he thought that there might be better relationship in the days to come, but actually it will never happen. What the core policy of NATO is economic and financial cooperation. Key initiatives include reducing dependence on US dollar, because BRICS countries always always demand that why there will be so hegemony of US dollar. Instead of US dollar, they want to make business, or they want to transact through other means, through other currencies. Okay, and so that is why the BRICS countries have created or founded a new development bank, and this new development bank has been founded for funding to the BRICS members, okay, and strengthening the BRICS Contingent Reserve Arrangement. Very good. And geopolitical influence, number 2, we say geopolitical influence. The bloc, this BRICS bloc, seeks to increase the voice of the global South with global institutions like the United Nations, World Trade Organization, and International Monetary Fund, because these countries are having, though despite having power, despite having people, despite having wealth, because these BRICS countries hold 37% of the world GDP. So the global leaders, particularly the United States of America and other NATO leaders, cannot defy the voice of BRICS. Okay, so geopolitical issues is that BRICS countries, particularly Russia, India, China, Brazil, and South Africa, they want to have their own voices. They want to be more vocal in global organizations such as United Nations General Assembly, Security Council, World Trade Organization, and International Monetary Fund, and others. Okay, so political, and number 3, political and security cooperation BRICS focus on tackling terrorism, ensuring energy security, and promoting a multipolar international order, not a bipolar, unipolar system. United States think that it is a unipolar arrangement they have made, but there was bipolarism, and is bipolarism because there is enmity, there is rising power of China, and China has become a great threat to the United States of America. So one side United States of America, and another side I would say both China and Russia, along with you take India also, because India now being poor, India now being medium developed country, cannot take much step against United States of America, but still it is not liking, or it is not accepting all the things made, all the things, or all the policies and all the dictates given by the President of the United States of America. Okay, so these BRICS countries focus on tackling terrorism. Terrorism is a great issue. Corruption is a great issue. Energy security is a great issue now in contemporary world. And BRICS wants to promote multipolar international order, not unipolarism, not bipolarism, but multipolar international system. Okay, and then you see next, number 4, expansion and development. Following expansion, BRICS is fostering increased integration of new members such as Ethiopia. BRICS is extending its membership to others as Ethiopia, Iran has become a member. Very recently, Iran has become a member of BRICS, and then Egypt and United Arab Emirates. All these countries have become connected with not NATO, with BRICS. Okay, and key policy focuses, if you see 2025, 2026, major policy focuses of BRICS are: number 1, India's 2026 chairmanship or chairship. So they're driven by the theme. What was the theme? I told you the theme is building for resilience, innovation, cooperation, and sustainability. This was the theme of 2026 Foreign Ministers Summit, okay, or conference. You see, next, development priorities. What are the development priorities of BRICS countries? The development priorities of BRICS are AI governance, AI-driven governance, climate action, climate change is a great issue, and the climate action, health cooperation, and agricultural development. Okay, next I will by expanding trade and investment opportunities among members. So these are the things BRICS are trying to foster or trying to adhere and trying to promote in the world. And later on, I mean, in the end, I would like to tell a brief about the outcome document of. Okay, so it just concluded or finished, and in the chair's statement and outcome document, it's a big document, but I would like to say or like to share with you a few interesting documents. The ministers expressed their full support to India's BRICS chairship in 2026 under the theme "Building for Resilience, Innovation, Cooperation, and Sustainability," which reflects that cooperation among BRICS members can help address shared challenges in a balanced and inclusive manner. Next, I'll say another important statement. Final documents. Statement of outcome document is that on the landmark occasion of the 20th anniversary of BRICS, the ministers reiterated their commitment to reforming and improving global governance by promoting a more just, equitable, agile, effective, efficient, responsive, representative, legitimate, democratic, and accountable international and multilateral system in the spirit of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits. You see, the statement has been issued by the chair of this summit, you can say, or of this conference. So next, I would say another very good or important statement is that the ministers noted the current global context of polarization and distrust and encourage global action to strengthen international peace and security. They called on the international community to respond to these challenges and associated security threats through politico-diplomatic measures to lower conflict potential and stressed the need to engage in conflict prevention efforts, including through addressing their root causes. At first, we have to find out the root causes and then settle all the problems and all the conflicts through diplomacy and dialogue. Okay. Next, the ministers noted that the current global challenges are complex and interlinked and impede economic growth and sustainable development of countries, while accentuating persistent development gaps across countries and regions. They agreed that in the context of contemporary realities of the multipolar world, it is crucial that developing countries strengthen their efforts to promote dialogue and consultations for more just and equitable global governance and mutually beneficial relations among nations. Okay. Next, I would say that the ministers acknowledged that BRICS members represent a broad diversity of societies and civilizations which are all affected differently by unjustified unilateral protectionist measures inconsistent with WTO rules, and that BRICS should focus on promoting a just and fair, stable, and predictable environment for mutually beneficial, sustainable development, emphasizing the importance of creating more resilient, reliable, and stable supply chains. They agreed that BRICS should work towards broader and more equitable participation of developing economies in higher value-added segments of global manufacturing and production, including through trade and investment initiatives, industrial cooperation, development of contemporary production capacities, and technology transfer on mutually agreed terms based on national priorities. So you see, there are many other statements have been issued by the chair. You see, next I would say that the ministers appreciated that BRICS under India's chairship will further contribute to enhancing cooperation by finding common grounds for achieving protocol actionable, inclusive, development-oriented BRICS partnership through sustained engagements with the chair's approach of putting humanity and people at the center. Next, the ministers recognized the chair's priorities such as promoting sustainable, just, orderly, inclusive, and equitable energy transactions and ensuring access to technology, taking into account national circumstances, strengthening energy security, fostering climate resilience and sustainable farming, enhancing disaster preparedness and mitigation through integrated early warning systems, advancing science, technology, and innovation, including through science and research collaboration in health and agriculture, promotion of traditional medicine systems for healthcare and wellness, building robust digital public infrastructure, and ensuring resilient global supply chains are important to fostering sustainable development and resilience for emerging markets and developing countries. What a good statement have been issued by the chair of this meeting. The ministers recognized the chair's focus on ensuring meaningful digital connectivity, creating vibrant ICT and startup ecosystem, promoting robust research ecosystem and youth entrepreneurship, facilitation of micro, small, and medium enterprises to access financial and markets, enhancing cooperation on digital public infrastructure, leveraging emerging technologies, strengthening capacity building initiatives and skill development would aim at accelerating innovation-led economic growth for EMDCs. Okay. Next, if you see that the ministers agreed that in the context of contemporary realities of the multipolar world, it is crucial that developing countries strengthen their efforts to promote dialogue and consultations for more just and equitable global governance and mutually beneficial relations among nations. Next, the ministers reiterated their commitment to reforming and improving global governance by promoting a more just, equitable, agile, effective, efficient, responsive, representative, legitimate, democratic, and accountable international and multilateral system in the spirit of extensive consultations, joint contribution, and shared benefits. Further, there are many more. I am not going to tell all those things, but the ministers welcomed. I would say a few more statements. The ministers welcomed the adoption of United Nations General Assembly Resolution number 80/250 on the declaration of the trafficking of enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity. The ministers advocated the prompt and full implementation of the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 79/115 of December 2025 in order to eradicate colonialism in all its forms and manifestations. There are some more very important issues have been pointed by the members, and it has been come out in the statement document. So the ministers reiterated the urgent need to reform the Bretton Woods institutions (BWI) to make them more agile, effective, inclusive, unbiased, accountable, and representative towards enhancing their legitimacy and credibility. they called for reforms in their governance to reflect reformation of the global economy. Since their establishment improved management procedures, including through a merit-based and inclusive selection process, as well as enhanced representation of emerging markets and developing economies in the leadership of the IMF and the WB. You see, there are many other very important things. Those have been declared in the statement, recalling the exchange of views held on the BRICS Deputy Foreign Ministers and Special Envoys meeting, which took place in New Delhi on 24th April 2026. The ministers expressed deep concern on the recent developments in the Middle East and North Africa region, because some problems are there, some atrocities are there against humanity, and there are riots, and there are problems going on there. So to settle all those problems, the ministers of foreign ministers of all these BRICS countries are very much worried about that, and they have expressed their solidarity and they have expressed their concern. There were differing views among some members as regard to the situation in the West Asia or Middle East region. BRICS members expressed their respective national positions and shared a range of perspectives. Views articulated by them included the need for an early resolution of the current crisis, the value of dialogue and diplomacy, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, upholding international law, the importance of safe and unimpeded flow of maritime commerce through international waterways, and the protection of civilian infrastructure and civilian lives. The impact of recent developments in the global economic situation was stressed by many members. You see, there are many more statements, but I would like to say that in this statement there are some great issues like Israel-Palestinian war, and indirectly Russian war in Ukraine, and at the same time US and Israel led war against Iran. So all these wars, particularly the Iran war, has created tremendous problem in the world. Every family in the USA incurred losses or suffered for to pay high expenses of essential commodities. Every household in the United States had to spend $5,000 more than the previous year. Okay, so in this way, United States of America had already lost $29 billion in Iran war, and Iran as a whole is suffering. But despite all those things, Iran, the people as a whole throughout the world, are suffering due to faulty tariff policy of Donald Trump, and also the conflict between Iran and USA and Israel. So Iran is also now stubborn. Iran is also not releasing. Though Iran is also a member of BRICS, it is also not opening the Strait of Hormuz. And Strait of Hormuz is a place or a strait from where 1/5 of oil moves around the world. So if it is stuck, if no movement of ships are done, then the crisis will definitely grow more, and the people as a whole in the world will suffer a lot. That is why I would request all the belligerent countries to stop war and stay and keep or maintain peace, or through the United Nations Charter. And I would request the United Nations Security Council to come forward and take steps, and definitely BRICS also, being under the chairship of India, will take more proactive role to settle down all the problems, or all the wars, in the ongoing wars in the world. And with this, with this hope and expectation, I would like to stop my video here. And lastly, I would extend my gratefulness and thankfulness to you for extending your ears for such a long time. Thank you very much. Thank you.